Hello, YouTube! Are you ready for the next chapter of Black Supremacy cringe? When we dealt with the last idiot, he had some way out there ideas. You know, that white people were some vampiric alien lizard race with telekinetic abilities that was spawned from some snake woman. Well, that's gonna take some beating. Will this be even more insane? Let's find out. Ew. Okay, the irony isn't lost on me being a demon and all that, but if you're gonna be talking science, maybe we should leave religion out of this for now, right?
So by checking the DNA of people living today, we find those with the same genetic markers. This map shows the distribution of men with a marker on their Y chromosome called M130. We can wind this film backwards and follow the migration route they took, which was the first complete one out of Africa around 60,000 years ago. That was the basis for the study conducted by Spencer Wells and others in 2000, which involved collecting DNA samples from indigenous people all over the world. Wells found distinctive genetic markers and traced each back to its source, marked here by red circles. We're retracing the migration paths our ancestors took backwards through time, and this is where they started, once again in Africa.
I'm going to give the narrator and documentary makers a pass on this bit, because it was made a couple of years ago, and it was only this year when fossils were discovered in Bulgaria and Greece that predated the oldest hominid remains found in Africa by 200,000 years. So in short, it challenges the out of Africa theory, and the earliest ancestors to humans were in fact in Europe. I'm not going to go through the full article, but the link is in the description below.
Because the mutations happen at a fairly regular rate, these ancestral markers can even be dated, so the timescale on this map marks the progress of each migration. Populations that stay put and don't migrate will, of course, have a lot more of these genetic markers, so it's not surprising that we find the greatest genetic diversity in Africa. But the greatest of all belongs to a people whose ancestral homeland extended until recently from South Africa to the Rift Valley. Wherever you're from in the world, whatever mitochondrial or Y chromosome DNA markers you have, they have it too. They're called the San, or Bushmen, and according to the DNA evidence, they're the living ancestors of all modern humans.
Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about the true origin of white people.
And so it begins.
Now there's a lot of videos on this, and everybody's got their, speculatory, false in many cases, origin of white people. Now, I'm not trying to sit here and say, I'm saying I'm dealing on the facts. I'm dealing on evidence. I'm not trying to insult anyone or to try to put myself on a pedestal or say that what I'm about to show you.
Have you listened to this guy? He's been droning on about how he's going to give you the facts, everyone else is lying, and he's not here to offend anyone, but he just wants to give you the hard evidence-based facts.
And talk about is, better than what they're talking about. But it's just to say that if you're really looking, if you're going to deal in facts, not fiction.
Just the facts.
Then watch this video. If you want to deal in fiction, there's a whole lot of videos on this subject. You can watch them.
Oh, fuck this shit. I'm going to fast forward this.
3 minutes in and you have brought me nothing. You stole someone else's clip. You don't even edit it right. Then you spend 3 minutes telling me that you have the only truth and everyone else is wrong. When someone else tells me that everyone else is wrong, I know they are lying to me.
And then they're going to say, well, this is what happened. But I'm going to tell you just on the basis of facts, common sense, and proof.
The moment you add in common sense or whatever I think is true, you confess this is nothing more than bullshit.
During this video, while I'm talking, there's going to be lots of pictures that are going to go by. I want you to look at each and one of those pictures very carefully, because each one, it would take me forever to basically break down each picture and explain to you things. But I think common sense just kind of like, if you look at it, you can see for yourself. Like the saying goes, a picture tells 1,000 words or something like that.
Translation, I'm bullshitting you. So focus on something else other than what I'm saying. I could explain these random pictures, but I won't, because that's how con artists work.
I'll keep an eye on the pictures though, just in case anything jumps out as bullshit or a distraction method.
Okay, so let's dive into it. Now, I did a video before this about, why it's important to be white.
Because whites can't be oppressed?
So this is basically kind of building off of that, but really its origin and why I want to go into that. Now, as a child growing up, I used to always feel this way until the actual proof. Some people in this world, whether you want to call them star children or whatever you want to call them, they have they're intuitive, they have intuition, they have feelings, they have things that time and patience always proves to be true. Because see, lies are like, they're like a fashion model. They come and go. They don't stick around.
What the demonic fuck are you talking about?
You know what I'm saying? But the truth is always going to stay firm. Okay. I always believe that white people originally derived from from albinos.
You believe that all white people come from albinos. Well, that's funny because white people can get tans.
Now, the reason why I say that is because the proof is all around you.
A person or animal lacking normal pigmentation, with the result being that the skin and hair are abnormally white or milky, and the eyes have a pink or blue iris and a deep red pupil. Okay, that is what albino is by definition. So, what proof is that white people have no pigmentation, huh?
It's not because I'm just saying that or because, wow, this is an original idea. This is not an original idea from me. There's other people who believe this too.
And you would all be wrong.
But it's kind of like it's downplayed. It's like they rather you believe that there's some aliens or there's some special race or they're the...
That's not an albino baby. She's mixed race. And she's so cute. Fucking raw!
What it is that stuff with the blue-eyed, blonde hair stuff? What is that they call it? Aryan race, all of that nonsense. They would rather you think this. They'd rather you think that they're better than you. They'd rather them think that they're special in relation to everybody else than for the truth to be that it's not really that they're special at all.
Okay, you are quite correct. No Aryans, no aliens. White people are not special. We just lived in an area with less sunlight than other humans, and the lack of vitamin D resulted in less pigmentation, so our skin could make more vitamin D. That's it. Nothing special. Sorry, I assumed you believed in aliens. That last video was really off the wall.
Lizard people!
That they're actually just, people who were derived from dark-skinned people. And from there, because they're a lot of people, don't research this, but if you do your own research, because again, I'm not trying to hand it all to you. I'm just talking about it with you.
Stop trying to tell me you aren't lying.
I expect you to do your own research and find it out. I'll leave a link in the description with this website that basically verifies everything that I'm saying. I actually took some pictures from that website.
Let's have a look at these websites in his link, shall we? The first one being realhistorywww.com. The real history of white people. The falsity of white history begins and ends with their desire to hide their true nature, that being that they are derived from albinos. Really? Fucking really? This is what you call proof. Nothing in this website gives any links to peer-reviewed papers or publications. It's all just bullshit pseudoscience and propaganda where you can get a good dose of confirmation bias that you was Kangs.
Because I was like, wow, finally, because it's like there's so much lies out there now. And then with YouTube and all these other vehicles from which people can just spread their lies and poison, they will spread it. And they will get all the likes and subscribers, and people that just don't care to want to really know the truth. They just want to hear things that cater to their low desires.
Just like you.
Black people are the only people, and black meaning like Indian, black, all of it's black. You know, in the sense of not black in the sense of true blackness, because they're, of course, black is not a color and they're not really black skin, but they're brown skin. But to say that these people are the only people that can bring forth white people. Now, there's no evidence of white people bringing forth black people or brown people. There's no evidence of that. It's absolutely none.
Only black people can bring forth white people. So you're telling us that white people can't bring forth white people? I'm not at all sorry to break this to you, but you're a fucking idiot. And there's plenty of cases where white couples have had a black baby, and the paternity test proved that the dad was really the dad. Because if you do have black in your ancestry, then there's a small chance that you can have a black child.
But there's evidence to support that white people come from black people.
But only if they have white people in their ancestry. If they don't, then it can't be white. It's albino. Stop getting the two mixed up.
And I'm using these terms because it's the only way that you're going to understand what I'm talking about. If I try to use it another way and try to be clever, you ain't going to follow me. So understand.
Trust me, no one thinks you're clever. Even if you did use words with more than 2 or 3 syllables, we still think you're dumb as rocks.
Now, and that's because the terminologies you use is that, mistakenly. So anyway, black people or brown people can bring forth white people. And with straight hair, with blue eyes, you know, because there's a theory out saying that, you know, they can say that the blue-eyed people can be brought back all the way to one man. Again, oh gosh, this is speculatory. This is not real. This is not a fact. This is a concrete guess again.
Nothing you have given us is real.
Because if you can see that blue-eyed people, blonde hair, blue-eyed and blonde hair comes from black people, that's a fact. Black people to this day are over there in Africa and certain places are bringing forth albinos, which have blonde hair and blue eyes and straight hair. Even if their hair is not straight, their children's hair is straight.
You keep repeating yourself and saying that albinos are white, which they're clearly not. They have a melanin deficiency, and if Africans keep producing these melanin deficient kids, then clearly there's an issue with the African genes.
You know, so therefore, you know, if you look at it from that standpoint, now I'm going to build on this too. Now, over there, you know, if you do your research, you'll find that a lot of those albinos could not stay in that region because they were dying. They were dying off because of the skin, because they don't have no melanin, because that's really all it is. White people just lack melanin.
No, we just have less melanin. And no, they didn't migrate because of a lack of melanin. Migrating north resulted in people being in an environment that selected for less melanin. Less melanin didn't force people into new environments.
So basically, this deficiency is what makes them beautiful to all the ignorant folks.
Beautiful to the ignorant folks. Racist much?
But that's not really the case. You understand what I'm? In reality, it's just a deficiency. It's just like if you see an apple and it's supposed to be red, but it turns out to be, I don't know, purple. You're going to be like, oh, wow, this must be a magical purple. No, it's not. It's just a deficiency. It's wrong. By nature, it's supposed to be red or green, if that's the kind of apples that it brings forth.
Or it could have been genetically engineered, whether through artificial means or naturally to thrive in a new environment. You just pissed all over your own argument in the last sentence. People should only be this colour. If they're another colour, it's wrong, unless they're supposed to be that other colour.
So basically what I'm saying is, this is not to insult white people or to put them down, but it's to say that just to deal on facts.
Oh no, you didn't want to insult white people or put them down. But they're ignorant if they find another white person attractive. Okay.
Not fiction, not a person's opinion, on facts. They lack melanin in their skin. They lack melanin in their eyes. If they have blue eyes, green eyes, and light eyes, they lack melanin. That's a fact.
Brown eyes too. It's very common for white people to have brown eyes. Because they have some melanin, blue and green-eyed people have melanin too, just not as much as what's needed to live near the equator.
So moving along. Their skin lacks melanin. That's a fact. Moving along.
You move the fuck along and stop repeating yourself like a trained parrot.
So now that we understand that the melanin they lack in their skin, which, where they can't absorb the sun rays as vitamins, where it really can affect them and also kill them, that's a deficiency.
White people don't die in the sun. Sunlight makes vitamin D in your skin. No sunlight. Going too far north with dark skin can, have some side effects. I can wear a blanket to protect me from too much sun, but if you go too far north and you don't get any sunlight, well, you happen to be lactose intolerant, you won't get any vitamin D, which means no calcium for communication between neurons. See, people don't understand that neurons talk to one another with the calcium pump.
So now that we establish that, then we know that that's really, what's happened to their color. Now, okay, let's look on the spreading of the so-called white man, right? Now, if you look at that, if you take a whole bunch of them, because I'm sure by now you've seen these pictures. I have them in rotation showing on this video of the proof of white people being born from over there in India and over there in Africa. Being born and having red hair, blonde hair, blue eyes, and so on and so forth.
Where? Where the fuck is the proof? You're talking out of your ass and showing random pictures with no explanation behind them.
I can make all kinds of theories and guesses, but if I can show you a fact, come on now, that's irrefutable proof. So they're being born there, so that eliminates where the blue-eyed, blonde-haired person come from. Now we're going to go into why some of these things actually became an issue. Now, their color, their skin lacking in melanin, as I was getting into earlier, was a problem for them. They started to really have these horrible freckles and skin problems.
Black people can get freckles too. Just look at Morgan Freeman. Do a quick image search on black people with freckles and you'll see lots of them.
And the sun was killing them over there in Africa. They had to move. They had to go to northern areas like northern Africa. They moved up there to like Morocco or up there in further regions where it was more comfortable for them, where they weren't dying off. So they spread out and moved. For one, for safety. Then there's probably was, maybe in some cases bigotry, because bigotry is in all human beings, unfortunately, or ignorant human beings.
Tribalism has survival merits, so judging people of the past by today's standards isn't justifiable.
So there probably was dark-skinned people there that thought that these people were cursed or thought that something was wrong with them. So they was probably picking on them and wanted them out of here.
Now you're just making stuff up. This is not a fact.
Or you had some of them that thought that they were special because they were light and thought that their hair was light and that there was something unique about them, because people interpret things their own way. But I'm not dealing on interpretations. I'm dealing on facts.
Actually, yes, you are interpreting.
Or you had some of them that thought that they were special because they were light and thought that their hair was light and that there was something unique about them, because people interpret things their own way. But I'm not dealing on interpretations. I'm dealing on facts. So this is why you'll see pictures in this video where you'll see northern Indians and you'll see southern Indians. You'll see northern Chinese and you'll see southern Chinese. And you can see northern blacks and you can see southern blacks, or people who are under the sun on a continual basis.
You see that red line there? That's the equator. You'll also notice that people living in the south of India are closer to the equator than those in northern India, and the same in China. South China is closer to the equator than northern China. Are you not seeing a pattern here? I'll spell it out for you. People get darker as they get closer to the equator.
Latitude affects your skin color.
So we understand that climate does also have a great deal to do with people's migrations from people's color and the darkening of their color. I mean, because, even for myself, I don't want to really kind of get into myself because I don't want to make it about me, but, I caught a tan. When I moved from the northern region and moved to the southern region, I got extremely dark. I still can get burned by the sun. I can still have effects of the sun, where I can't be out in the sun for too long, where I start to really soar, man, and it feels like somebody threw hot fire on me.
So is this because you have some melanin deficiency? Or because you don't have as much melanin as someone much darker than yourself? Your arguments again are futile and have been invalidated by yourself.
I know I get that from my mother, but the whole point of what I'm saying is that, you know, that's what happened. That's what happened to me. This is what happened to a lot of people. This is a fact, not fiction, not a concrete guess, not a theory. I'm not theorizing. I'm telling you the facts.
What is? That even black people can get burned by the sun? We know this! Stop reminding us every few minutes that it's a fact! You're coming across like a flat earther spouting something irrelevant like, the sky is blue, it's a fact, and that's why the earth is flat! You fucking moron!
Okay, so this video is over?
I wish. Still got at least a third to go.
So the preoccupation with color is an insanity. It's just as much of an insanity as a person being gay. It is a mental deficiency.
What? Being gay is a mental deficiency.
Because for us to focus on color, like I don't know if you've ever known people who've had roaches before. You notice there's always like a whole lot of brown roaches. And then once in a blue moon, you see like a white roach. And it's an anomaly. You're like, wow, what the hell is that? That's a white roach. It's a white roach, right? Okay, you follow where I'm going with this?
That white people are cockroaches?
I was thinking more along the lines of, you're living in a filthy apartment and you need to get it clean, you dirty fucking scrubber.
You know, so that white roach, and they say this after 1 million roaches, you get a white roach.
If you have so many roaches in your place where you get the one that's the white anomaly, then clean your house.
Okay, why is this? It goes back to what I said in another video, or in one of my other videos, when I quoted a saying from the Quran, when it said that God made people of various colors so that you may know each other.
Anything you quote from that book is bullshit and should be stricken off the record.
So therefore, you know, and it's funny that the very book that people hate and think this and think that about can have such wisdom, whereas you read the Bible, you ain't got nothing. You know, a bunch of allegories, a bunch of this, that, and a bunch of corruption and a bunch of missing pieces and parts and all of this type of stuff. But you can go to a book that basically tells you right, straight, blunt, and forward.
Yes, go to the book that tells you the best way to beat your wife, and how it's perfectly fine to enslave non-believers and that raping a 9-year-old girl is pretty much encouraged. You, sir, are a cunt of the lowest degree.
There is nothing in the Bible. I'm sorry, but it built Western civilization, the one that tolerates your holy book, where yours does not tolerate theirs. Yes, I'm an atheist, but I prefer a civilization that does not behead gays.
That God created man of many colors, that they may know each other.
I thought you were dealing with facts. Your skybeard doesn't exist.
So that explains why some people, you know, are just, everybody's of various colors. You can take 10 white people and put them in a line and you'll find that they have various different colors, even though they're white. You're not going to have them as the same color. It's the same with black people.
Your holy book explains where white people came from. The book written by a guy who went into a desert to talk to angels.
And beheaded over 500 Jews in a single day, then flew up into the heavens on the back of a winged horse. Shit, there's even stuff in the Bible that's far-fetched, but nothing as ridiculous as that.
So what does that mean? Does it really matter? Of course not. But it matters to the ignorant. And this is why I have to put out these videos, because there's so many ignorant individuals in this world that it's like, it's almost like, you know, any good people or mindful people are a minority here.
The way you keep droning on about this, something that would have taken 3 minutes to explain, indicates to me that you are the one who thinks race is important.
And what's dominating is the stupid, the jackasses, the ignorant folks, the racisms, the dummies, the morons. Those are the popular ones. Those are the ones. It's just like in school.
You know, when I hear people drone on about how people who hate are all stupid, especially when they get really upset about how stupid people are, I begin to suspect that you are the one with the problem. Look, you already said white people come from black people, but then changed it to white people came from God. Stop while you are ahead, okay?
The popular ones were the morons. That kid that was always joking around, playing around, he was popular. That whore, that slut that was sleeping around with everybody, she was popular.
Who are you calling a whore?
It's the same thing. It translates in our life even when you get out of school. It's the same thing. They put you in a box. You're either a geek, you're a jock, you're a cheerleader, you're this, you're that, you're a gang member. It's the same thing. It's like the same psychosomatic, crazy mental problems that human beings have translates in everything. You can't escape it when you're a kid, and you can't escape it when you're an adult.
Most people put themselves in boxes, actually.
It's everywhere. And color shouldn't matter. That's the beauty of us all. You can take 10 Indian people and put them together, and you'll find all these different shades. You can take 10 Asian people and put them together, and you'll find 10 different shades. That everybody has their own. That's just what it is. Color should not matter. But unfortunately, to the majority of ignorant dummies, color matters.
You are repeating yourself.
And really, it matters, like I say, because it's never really about the color. It's really about the classism. It's about the rich against the poor. In order to keep these people rich, they have to keep you down. And in order to keep you down, they have to have a reason. Because if we was all one color, then what would be the reason for another man to rule over another man?
Okay.
If it was, you know what I'm saying? There would be no reason, because it'd be like, why is you got to have this? Why can't I have it?
Lots of reasons. The stronger one will assert his dominance. The smarter one will then realize that if he uses a weapon, like a good solid club, he can beat the stronger one to death. Now he can dominate. Nothing to do with skin color or class.
And that's a rightful question. Why should you get this and I can't get it?
If you really have to ask, then you're as dumb as you sound.
So in order to set the dynamics of evil in this world, such as the devil, Iblis, whatever you want to call him, the Lucifer, Asmodeus,
Mr. Gurr?
whatever name, Diabolus, whatever you want to call him, that dude and his people decided, let's introduce systems into their world.
So racism comes from the devil.
This is just a saga now.
Because in the end, his greatest power is influence. So he has to reach you in your mind in order to affect your heart, in order to have you react upon these things out of ignorance. Okay, so let's deal with that. Let's introduce the money system. So now, through the money system, you'll be able to kill each other over having money.
Look, Satan can be a bit of a con. I can verify this firsthand. But he didn't invent money or white people.
Such as people do to this day.
People kill themselves over things other than money, long before money was around.
Let's introduce racism. Now, they can't do this to dogs and cats and chickens and everybody else that's of other colors. They can't do that to them. No, they have to do it with us. Because you know why? Because there's something about us. And you know what it is? It's because God made us special.
Yeah, humans built civilization. Cats are pets.
Onto himself. And because of that, out of envy, he has to create and inject these systems in order to divide and conquer.
You had to start going Marxist, didn't you?
Let me repeat that again. He introduces these systems into our psyche to divide and conquer. So, therefore, if I can say, well, you're dark skinned, so there's something wrong with you, or your hair is not straight, there's something wrong with you, or I can say, do the reverse. I can say, well, you're light skinned, there's something wrong with you, or your hair is stringy, there's something wrong with you. I can do this. I can create the division, and then from there, I can create the hate. You see where I'm going with this? You follow how it just escalates? It just then it graduates into some kind of violence.
No idea where you're going.
Some kind of abuse, or something that leads to us shaming ourselves as spiritual beings and turning into monsters, from which we practice racism, which really is really just classism. But we'll just call it racism because that's the cover. But it's really classism.
No, prejudice plus bigotry equals power. Bigotry could be racism, sexism, whatever. You use bigotry to manipulate other people's prejudices to control them. Bigotry is the excuse.
You know, as one people or tribe of people thinking that they are better than another people and oppressing them because they feel like they have the right to, from whatever that difference that they feel that they want to separate themselves from the other tribe. See, there's already steps on a higher order of things. You don't know this, and I don't expect any of you to believe me. I really don't care, because I look forward to it manifesting itself. And when it's true, on a higher order of things, that color stuff is already being resolved. But I'm not going to give out the details because I got to keep all of this stuff quiet. I'll just deal with the facts.
You need to keep quiet that you believe in magic.
But let's just say that stuff is already being worked out. And let's just say people are not going to have the power to do it.
No, only people have the means to fix things. The moment you give up and surrender to a higher power, you become a slave.
Well, let's put it this way. You'll be the ones acting it out. That's the best way I can put it without giving away nothing. But let's just say that this ignorance is going to stop on this planet. You fools who practice racism are going to be stopped.
The only one practicing racism here is yourself.
So, getting back to what I'm saying, white people, by facts, not just proving it from the images I'm showing you, just do your history, do the images. Now I'm talking about if you can find all of the statues and the images of the people that were ruling. The Greeks were black, but most people don't know that.
I know you can't tell, but right now I'm rubbing the bridge of my nose and sighing silently to myself.
You know what I'm saying? Look at the original images before they started whitewashing them and changing them into these features. Go to the original images. Go to the original images of Apollo. Go to the original images of all of the Greeks or Greek boy or this or that. Go to the museums where I probably shouldn't even say this because they probably try to, push those things away or take them away from the museums and stuff. But
if you talk about something, what? Huh? The museums will try to cover it up. But
anyway, they're trying to lie to you and tell you that white people are from this or from that or originated from the Neanderthal. No, there's mixing all the time. There's mixing of people and tribes all the time. The only people that are of difference than the human but still are subjugated to the human, world.
Yeah, just a tip.
But yet have certain differences in their bloodline are the people who have mixed with the alien races. Those are the people that have those differences that everyone else, a white person and a black person, can have the same blood, the same genetic, same code and all of that. And then yet this one particular white or this one particular black has these different things in their DNA, their DNA code.
Thanks for the lesson, Captain Obvious.
That's because they were interfered.
Interfered. They have the same DNA, but don't have the same DNA because what?
Now, you don't have to be, a religious person, but let's say if you are, you believe in God and you believe in the scriptures.
And what's up with Mummy Jesus?
Then you can see it says that they were mixing those Nephilim or those beings, those of them that came down, whatever you want to call them. There's many names for them. They come down, they mix in with the earth women.
Oh, here we go. The angels came down, took our jobs, took our women, bastardized our culture.
And they bring forth these anomalies. But these people that they bring forth, because they have some lineage to them, they empower them. They give them certain secret knowledges.
So neo-Nazis are the Nephilim.
Certain tactics, certain tools, certain magic, which really is just a new term. Which in modern day terms is science, because science is nothing but magic.
Science is nothing but magic. I got nothing. How about you, Mr. Gurr?
Well, I could give the pedantic answer that what was perceived as magic 200 years ago is now known as what's science. But saying science is magic is on a whole new level of dumb fuckery.
But I'll make a video on that one day down the line.
And I would honestly want to see that video.
So if you look at it from that standpoint, they have already interjected in our society. Now, there's a lot of things to prove that. If you don't want to believe in the Bible, you can go to the Sumerian, tablets. If you want to go to that, there's
Evidence of this. You haven't even said what this is. I get what you're talking about because I'm the Eldritch fucking God, and I'm a goddamn deity's rights activist. I know about the slander and oppression that angels get over being blamed for knocking up a bunch of Jews. No, I did not cheat on you. That an angel came down and banged me because, angel. God must have sent him. It's how I got knocked up. Honest. Couple of horny bitches make up some bullshit 8,000 years ago and angels are still getting a bad goddamn rap over it. Not that I like angels, mind you. I usually grind them up for my angel food cake, but this is a matter of principle. Side note, angels have just not tasted the same since they started taking out the dolphin.
so many evidences of this in various different tribes of men that you can find that they have mixed in with human civilization. Therefore, that's why you have certain people that have the right to rule. What's happening in our society, and why you have these kings and presidents. What the freak? Why do we don't need any of this. Logic, just common sense, we don't need any of these people. We don't.
Why?
But they're set in place for a reason, and that's to keep the populace under control. Again, classism.
For who?
It all falls into that. Racism is classism.
No. Goddamn frickin' Marxists. What are you tricked me? God damn you, I actually had hope for a second there. You set me a bastard, you fucking
Politics is classism. The governments, all they do is show that it's classism. Why are these people got to be elected? What's so special about this guy? What does he know that the other man doesn't know? No, it has nothing to do with that. It's classism.
Oh, this is not a guy. And what she has that the other guy doesn't is a see-through blouse and titties.
It's people, rich and poor, classism. That's all it is. It's people who think that they're better than another people by using certain tools, color, money, you don't have enough money, where you live, your location, all of that, so on and so forth. So there's always a tool or way that they can use against you. It could be down to people who are skinny, racism against people who are fat, or so on and so. There's so many tools that they can use to goes back to the root, divide and conquer. See, people, it's very simple.
Everything you just said, not racism. That's just prejudice.
The simplicity of this madness that's what makes it so almost like you almost don't even want to believe what I'm saying, because it's so simple that it's just that simple. That's it. It's just as simple as it's classism. It's just a certain people thinking that they're better than another people and finding tools and some reason to do that.
Honestly, I don't know what you are saying. I can tell you're dog whistling. I can tell because I know my religions. I study them all. I know what crap you are babbling about, but I don't think anyone who can't hear you dog whistling can tell.
So if you understand that, then you can understand what I'm saying.
Wait, you have a problem with interracial porn. Is that it?
And understand that white people, that whole terminology, that ideology has to go.
White people are an ideology, and white people have to go.
Black people, same thing. Indian people, same thing. Chinese people, same thing. And whoever want to call themselves this people is the same thing. We're all people.
Okay, wait a sec. All right. All races need to go. Well, I'm with you, sort of. I think that races need to go, but phenotypes need to stay. Genetics is what genetics is, and claiming it doesn't exist is bad. We should investigate it honestly and just suck up what the bad news is. Personally, I think, and I subscribe to the theory that the Black poor performance on IQ tests stems mostly from a lack of calcium, which is needed for interneuron communication. More melanin, unless you have sunlight, leads to less vitamin D, less calcium absorbed, and decreased brain power. Blah, 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 blah. This is why we give kids steel stone chewable vitamins. This episode of Mr. Gur's Cavalcade of Black Racism brought to you by Steelstone Chewable Vitamins. Remember, kids, everything is technically chewable. The only question is, can you break it up enough to swallow?
And we're all of the Adamic race. Some of us are mutated, but most of us aren't. But a lot of us, most of us that aren't, are mentally deficient because we don't see what we're doing to our world, to each other, and how this is translating in our life, our everyday life.
I see exactly what I'm doing. I also hate all humans. God damn you. Sorry, but this whole skeleton on the inside thing, it's disgusting. Exoskeleton or no skeleton. Polite interdimensional society really frowns upon this whole endoskeleton thing. Mostly because when you're an nth dimensional horror, you can see inside three-dimensional bodies, and frankly, you just all look really freaky.
And why a racist person being racist against another person is a crime. And like I said in another video, those people, it should be a law. They should be arrested. And if they practice any violence towards that, they should be eliminated.
Great Azathoth's hairy nutsack. Eliminated? That escalated quickly.
And if they're arrested and they don't show reform, then they get booted out of the country. Plain and simple.
They're going to boot corpses out of the country. I mean, technically, yes. I can boot a corpse out of a country. I'm not sure if humans have developed enough techno-magic yet to reanimate eliminated racists yet, but, weird concept.
Be that as it may, I've never seen a racist corpse. Well, unless Count Dankula has been busy exhuming graves and putting the bodies into Nazi salute poses and, quote, teaching them to obey Hitler.
That solves the problem. Because if we're going to just keep going on with this, then we're just going to sit around while those who are in the know, because trust me, there are always those who are in the know and those who don't know. And most of the people don't know, and those who are in the know, know. They're going to play this card until they know that they can't play it anymore.
Because those who know, know, and those who don't know, but we know who knows and who doesn't know until we take those who don't know and then we'll tell them what we know. But don't forget, those who know are telling those who don't know what they want those who don't know what those who know, because he knows what he knows and he knows who knows and who knows and what they know and don't know, because he knows what to know and what not to know, and that's how you get to be the one who knows that what those who knows. He knows?
Who knows? And that's what's happening now. Because the truth is coming out. And white people are originated as albinos.
No, just no.
Not even close.
It's a fact. Read up what they write about. The ancients wrote about the people who are white or white-skinned, pale-skinned, pink-skinned.
Weird fact, the average human color is a shade of orange. It's why they use blue in many movie posters. The blue brings out the orange in human skin if you want eyes to be drawn to the people in the advertisement. Blue being the diametric opposite of red and yellow combined to make orange, of course. Did you know that the average color of the night sky is beige, also a shade of orange? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Well, it shouldn't. It's just a keck-damn coincidence. Stop being some sort of conspiracy nutter.
Really. Pink and light pink. You know, read what they wrote about them. Look at the fact that black people, dark-skinned people, brown people, whatever you want to call them, can bring forth white people.
Bring forth white people. Again, I got nothing. Mr. Gurr?
Like I said earlier, they can give birth to albinos since a defect from birth. But the only way they can give birth to a white person is if there's already the white gene in one of the parents.
Think about what I said about the roaches, how there could be a million roaches and then all of a sudden one white roach comes.
Again, with the white people are roaches. What? You are all over the place, dude.
Think about what I said about, God, said that in the Quran that he made people of many colors that you may know each other.
If that really was the case, then why do so many people of one race think all of another race look alike? Someone might think all white people look the same. Someone might think the same about black people. So the book you hold dear is less than useless.
Is this how we want to know each other? By dividing ourselves by color, races,
Okay, I need to ask this. So you claim God made everyone, and God made all of the races so we might know one another. But you seem to want to undo God's plan by getting rid of the concept of race. So in other words, you claim God is wrong. God fucked up when it came to making the races. You think you know better than God. Or you are saying that God has changed his mind or something because you keep dancing around things without flat out saying anything I can take to the bank.
Classism, poor, rich, whatever, fat, skinny, ugly, pretty. The devil has done his work well. And, to this day, you can just see just how good his work has affected everyone.
The devil, who, I would like to point out, isn't really a figure in Muslim faith, just saying. This episode of Mr. Kerr's Cavalcade of Religious Myth Salad is brought to you by Abrahamic Peanut Butter Cups. You got Catholicism in my Islam. You got Islam on my Catholicism. Abrahamic Peanut Butter Cups, the two great religions that mix great together.
But if you have any sense, any logic, any wisdom, any understanding, if you ponder, if you have any sense, then you'll understand what I'm saying.
I'm crying. Oh my God. Like at least 3 or 4 eyes. I'm crying right now. Oh my God. I need to grow more lungs. Oh my God.
Is that the simplicity of the truth is the reason why people cannot see it.
Simplicity? What the fucking fuck? I wasted 29 minutes and 16 seconds of my eternal existence that I will never get back, and you have said exactly this. Yo, God made man and all races. I disagree with that, so there should be no races. And by the way, I'm a Muslim, and in the Muslim faith, angels came down and fucked a bunch of people. Maybe. They're mutants, but that's not the source of white people. Or maybe it is. I never really make that clear. And Satan is the source of all evil, and all rich people are evil. Therefore, all rich people are Satan. I think it's not clear. Oh yeah, don't forget, science is magic. There. In less than 30 seconds, I subbed up your whole goddamn video to this point. But simplicity? No. What I just did? That was simple. What you are babbling incoherently about with your Muslim dog whistling and mixed Abrahamic legend fucking up is as diametrically opposed to simplicity as is humanly possible. In this universe, that the cardinal point of simplicity might be, this video is exactly as far from that point in space-time as you can get. I would term this as anti-simplicity for three-dimensional beings. If this and simplicity ever came into direct contact, the resulting explosion would undo causality itself. I'm just... fuck.
Because it's made to seem this way, it's made to seem that way. And the white man loves to masquerade. He loves to lie. That's one thing you learn about, unfortunately. And this is not all white men, but those who claim to be white and love that ideology and thinking themselves to be better than their fellow brothers that are all in the world.
You buried it pretty deep in your video. Here we go. The white man loves to lie. You kept waffling. I kept wondering if you were actually a black supremacist or not, but here we are, you fucking identitarian politicking motherfucker.
Now, they love to lie. They love to manufacture truth. Why do you think they're the ones who make the best movies?
Wait, what? You're bringing up movies. I brought up the movie poster orange blue thing, and now... Okay, this is just creepy.
They love lying. They love manipulating you. They love masquerading you. They can smile in your face and shake your hand and hate you really in their heart. That's why they always have trouble expressing themselves, because black people externalize They're very vocal. They say how they feel, and white people internalize. And they keep how they feel buried. That's the reason why they end up doing all this mass killing and school shootings and all of this stuff. And they invent all of this fearful weapons of this mass destruction because they internalize. They have fears.
And now white people are deliberately shooting up schools to control people through fear.
Wait. Back it up a little. Whites can't express their feelings, so they shoot up schools, yet most murders in America are done by black people. Perhaps rappers should express themselves more authentically, rather than focusing on material wealth, guns and gold-digging whores, and the fans that try to emulate them won't feel the need to shoot each other over dumb shit like real estate they don't even own. And if white people do make such good movies like you mentioned earlier, well, that's an expressive art. So they do express themselves. They just don't feel the need to do it with their baggy pants hanging down to their knees and waving a gun around repeating the word nigger in every other sentence.
I remember, and this is the last thing I'm going to say on this video, and I thank you for being patient and listening to this video, because I know sometimes it can be a little long. I don't try to keep you.
A little?
I just want to help you. And if you allow me, that's all I'm doing. I don't want nothing else from you.
Hope you appreciate the feedback then.
Now, there was one time I ran into a white cop, right? She was blonde haired, white skin, and we was talking by Applebee's. I remember it was right in front of Applebee's, and she was just talking, just shooting the breeze, because she was like kind of just, I guess she was just like patrolling that area, and she was on foot, and she was just walking around, and we just got to talking.
Get the fuck on with it, will you? You're boring the pants off me here. Just get to the fucking point.
And she was telling me how, she lived, and she lives in a, white upper class or middle class neighborhood, and she was saying how she has a lot of friends who are black and they live in the low class neighborhoods, and how they just always having a good time. They're always partying and just enjoying each other's company, loud, having fun, shooting the breeze, barbecuing all the time, just having a good time. And she was saying how, over there in her community, these white people are always afraid of losing their money, worrying about this, worrying about that, afraid of this, afraid of that.
Being a responsible adult, working for what you want, paying for insurance just in case someone robs them.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember, I never forget that conversation, because it always made me think, and I've been around white people all my life. You know what I'm saying? And it's true. It's like wherever you go, they're so uptight all the time. They're uptight.
Yes, white people are uptight, and black people are lazy. Did either of those stereotypes help with my reasoning? No, they're just stupid stereotypes that help nothing and no one. So is it too late to ask you to just stick to the facts?
They're always worried about this or worried about that. They're afraid of this or afraid of that.
Like being afraid of cops? Wow! Blacks can have an irrational fear of something too! Who'd have thunk it?
And then they try to counter that fear by doing something stupid, by hurting themselves. I mean, you can find all kinds of Vines and YouTube videos of white people abusing themselves. Look, you ain't going to see nobody else but white boys abusing themselves, hurting themselves, doing stupid stuff to hurt themselves.
I work with people getting out of the mental hospital, and trust me when I say this, many different races and ethnicities hurt themselves. It isn't just white people.
Jumping into cactuses, doing everything and anything to not only tempt God, but to hurt themselves physically.
Jumping into cacti is a sin. Well, learn something new every day.
And their, I guess, sad way of trying to conquer their fears. You know what I'm saying?
No idea what you're saying. Unless what you're saying is white people are afraid of cacti.
And I looked at that and I was like, wow, all of white people I'm ever being around is not all of them. Again, not all of them, because you do find some that are if they're around black people all the time, they're very expressive, they're very honest, they come out, they don't even act white, they just act like a person.
If you act white, you aren't a person. You racist motherfucker.
That's why I always say that there's white people, and I'm referring to an ideology, and then there's light-skinned people, where they just people. You don't feel like they're white. You don't feel like they're black. You don't feel like anything. They're just people. And there's black people the same way. There's black people that have this ideology, I'm a black man and I'm a black woman. And then you have people who are just dark skinned and they just fit in. You can find them all around, just having all kinds of white friends, having a good time. Because again, they understood that they're just a person. It's all psychosomatic. It's all in the head. Those people who think that they're black now are subjugated to all of these rules and regulations and misconceptions that follow black people. Same thing for white people. The people that consider themselves white are subjugated to all of these rules and regulations and misconceptions that go along with being white. But if you throw all of that away and just be a person, well, hey, you finally elevated. You finally evolved into being a human being.
Little known fact, Applebee's is actually an interdimensional alien that has been colonizing your world. Nobody actually goes into Applebee's. Do you know anyone who's actually been inside an Applebee's? No. No, you do not. These Applebee's, they just appear when the Master Bee extrudes a pseudopod of otherworldly mirror matter into your universe, and it appears to your human mind as an Applebee's. Nth dimensionally, it's quite clear that all Applebee's are just part and parcel of the same entity. It's why it's called Applebee's, because they are, from your perspective, a hive mind. One day, Applebee's will completely consume your world. When enough Applebee's exist across your planet, it will be as if he has your entire world grasped in its many, many Applebee fingers. And on the day your world has finally reached the critical mass of Applebee's, the Master Bee will flex its hypergravitic muscles and in a mighty pop, crush your world out of existence.